The first official meeting between humans and the warrior coalition happened on a wide metal station that floated between stars. The station was cold and quiet, built to be neutral ground. Human lights were soft and white, while alien symbols glowed in sharp colors along the walls. Soldiers from many worlds stood in lines, watching each other with careful eyes. Among the alien warriors was a female named Kira. She was tall and strong, with armor shaped for battle and old scars across her arms. She had fought in many wars and survived many deadly missions. In her culture, warriors were respected only for strength. Kindness was seen as weakness. Mercy was seen as shame. She had learned to hide pain and feelings long ago. The humans looked small to her. They wore simple uniforms and light armor. Their weapons were not always in their hands. Some of them even smiled. Kira did not trust smiles. On her world, smiles often came before betrayal. A human male stepped forward to guide her through the station. His name was Jae-suk. He was not a soldier. He worked in logistics and coordination. His job was to make sure visitors reached their assigned areas. He bowed his head slightly when he met her, not as fear, but as respect. He spoke in a calm voice and used slow words so the translator could work clearly. He asked if she needed rest or water. Kira stared at him, confused. No one had asked her such things before. She expected orders, not questions. She did not answer at first. Her hand rested near her weapon, ready. Jae-suk noticed, but did not react. He simply waited. His body language showed no threat. He stood at a respectful distance and did not look into her eyes for too long. Finally, Kira nodded once. Jae-suk led her through the hallways. As they walked, humans moved aside to give her space. Some looked afraid. Others looked curious. None shouted. None tried to challenge her. The station shook slightly as docking clamps locked into place. Kira's instincts rose, but no alarm followed. Jae-suk explained that it was a supply ship arriving. His voice stayed steady. He did not raise it even when she suddenly turned toward him. She asked him why he was not afraid. The translator struggled with her sharp tone, but the meaning was clear. Jae-suk thought for a moment. He said that fear was normal, but treating guests well was more important. He said peace was built from small actions. Those words stayed in Kira's mind. On her world, peace was forced by power. Small actions meant nothing. Only victory mattered. They reached a quiet waiting room with wide windows showing the stars. Jae-suk offered her a seat designed for her size. He explained that it had been adjusted based on alien data so she would not feel discomfort. Kira slowly sat down. The seat supported her weight perfectly. She tested it with a small movement, expecting pain or imbalance. There was none. Something tight inside her chest shifted. Jae-suk placed a container of water on the table. The container was reinforced, made to handle alien strength. He explained this as well, not proudly, but simply. He said it was important that visitors felt safe. Kira picked up the container and drank. The water was clean and cool. Her body relaxed before she could stop it. She noticed Jae-suk turn slightly away, giving her privacy. That small act confused her more than anything else. She asked him why humans acted this way. He answered honestly. He said humans had learned that survival was not only about fighting, but about helping each other. He said their history was full of wars, but also full of lessons. Kira thought of her own history. Endless training, endless battles, fallen comrades left behind because they slowed the unit. No time for care, no room for weakness. A loud sound echoed from another corridor. Kira stood instantly, ready for combat. Jae-suk raised his hand slightly, not in surrender, but to calm the situation. He said it was only a cargo accident. He was right. No attack followed. Kira noticed her heart was beating fast, but not from fear of death. It was fear of uncertainty. Humans did not follow the rules she knew. Later, during the official meeting, Kira stood behind her commanders. Humans and aliens spoke through screens and translators. Demands were made. Conditions were set. Power was measured. Yet Kira's attention kept drifting back to the quiet human who stood near the wall, checking data pads and guiding staff. Jisuk never looked important, yet everything around him worked smoothly. When the meeting ended, Kira was escorted back. As they walked, she asked Jisuk one final question. She asked what he would do if she chose violence. He stopped walking. He looked at her, not with anger or fear, but with sadness. He said he would try to stop her, but he would still hope for another path. He said he believed even warriors could choose differently. Kira did not reply. She continued walking. But inside her mind, something cracked. That night, alone in her assigned quarters, Kira removed her armor. She examined old scars under the soft human lights. For the first time, she wondered what it would be like to be treated as more than a weapon. Far across the station, Jisuk completed his reports and prepared schedules for the next day. He did not think of himself as brave or important. He only hoped the talks would lead to peace. Between them, without either fully understanding it, a quiet change had begun. The station did not sleep, but its sounds changed during the rest cycle. Lights dimmed slightly, and footsteps became rare. Kira lay on a firm surface in her assigned room, staring at the smooth ceiling. Human design was strange. Everything was built to reduce stress. Even the air felt calm. She should have been resting, but her thoughts would not slow. Images of past battles returned again and again. Screams, fire, orders shouted without care. She had learned to push those memories away. Tonight, they stayed. A sharp vibration moved through the station. It was light at first, almost easy to miss. Kira's body reacted before her mind did. She was on her feet in a breath, armor half secured, weapon in hand. This time, an alarm followed. Red lights flashed along the walls. A calm human voice spoke through the system, asking everyone to move to safe zones. It did not sound panicked. It sounded controlled. Kira stepped into the corridor. Other aliens did the same, weapons ready. Humans ran past, guiding civilians, pointing directions. There was fear in their faces, but also purpose. Jisuk appeared from a side passage, holding a data pad. He froze when he saw Kira armed and alert. Then he nodded once, as if this was expected. He told her that unknown ships had exited warp near the station. Their signals were hostile. Defense teams were moving to positions. Kira asked where she was needed. Jisuk hesitated. He said the human command had not asked alien forces to engage yet. He said civilians were the priority. Before he could finish, a heavy impact shook the station. Metal screamed. The floor tilted slightly. Kira did not wait for orders. She ran toward the damage. Jisuk shouted after her, but then followed. He was slower, untrained for combat, but he did not turn back. Smoke filled a wide junction where a transport corridor had collapsed. Debris blocked exits. Several humans were trapped beneath fallen panels. Sparks flew from broken systems. Kira moved with speed and strength. She lifted metal that would have crushed a human. She cleared paths and pushed civilians toward safety. Blaster fire echoed nearby as defense units engaged boarders. One of the trapped humans was pinned badly. Kira pulled the weight away, but a sharp pain tore through her side. A piece of shrapnel had cut deep. She ignored it and finished the rescue. Her vision blurred for a moment. She steadied herself against the wall. The wound burned. Jisuk reached her then. His face went pale and he saw the blood. He told her she was injured. She told him it did not matter. Another explosion shook the station. The ceiling cracked. Jae-suk grabbed her arm and pulled her toward a safer corridor. She was stronger, but she did not resist. His grip was firm, desperate. They reached a sealed maintenance room. The door slid shut behind them. The noise outside became dull. Kira leaned against the wall. Her armor was broken at the side. Blood soaked the dark plating. Jae-suk tore open a medical kit mounted on the wall. His hands shook, but his movements were careful. He told her to sit. She did. He cleaned the wound slowly. His touch was gentle, almost soft. He apologized each time she flinched. No one had ever apologized to her for pain. She watched his face closely. There was fear there, but also concern. Real concern. Not duty. Not fear of punishment. He sealed the wound as best he could and wrapped it tight. He said help would come soon. Kira asked him why he had followed her. He said he could not leave people behind. He said strength meant nothing if it was not used to protect. Those words struck deeper than the injury. The door opened later, and armed teams escorted them to a secure area. Medics took over Kira's care. Jae-suk stepped back, giving space, but his eyes stayed on her until she was moved away. Hours passed before the attack ended. The hostile ships were driven back, but damage was heavy. Lives were lost. Kira rested in a medical bay designed for aliens. Machines hummed softly around her. The pain was controlled. Her body would heal. Her mind did not rest. She remembered how Jae-suk had pulled her to safety, even though she was the warrior. She remembered his hands, careful and warm. On her world, an injured warrior was expected to endure alone. Weakness was hidden. Here, humans rushed to help without being asked. A human commander entered the bay later. His name was Juan. He thanked Kira for saving lives. His words were simple, but honest. She waited for an order. None came. He asked only how she felt. When he left, Kira stared at the ceiling again. This time, the silence felt heavy. Elsewhere on the station, Jae-suk sat alone, reviewing damage reports. His hands still smelled of antiseptic. He replayed the moment she was hurt, wondering if he could have acted faster. He told himself she was strong. She would recover. In the medical bay, Kira closed her eyes. For the first time since becoming a warrior, she allowed herself to feel something unfamiliar. Not anger. Not pride, but a quiet, confusing warmth that refused to fade. Recovery took time, something Kira was not used to. On her world, wounded warriors were sent back to battle as soon as they could stand. Here, human medics insisted she rest. Machines checked her body often, and humans spoke to her in calm tones. At first, Kira resisted. She tried to stand before she was ready. Pain shot through her side and forced her back down. The medic did not shout. She simply placed a hand on Kira's arm and told her to breathe slowly. That simple touch felt strange. Kira obeyed without knowing why. Outside the medical bay, the station worked to heal itself. Broken corridors were sealed. Fires were put out. Crews worked in long shifts. Humans and aliens moved side by side, sharing tools and space that Jae-suk visited when his duties allowed. He did not come often, and when he did, he stayed only a short time. He brought reports, water, or small updates about repairs. He never stared at her wounds. He always asked before entering. He always asked before speaking. Kira watched him closely. She noticed how tired he looked. Dark marks rested under his eyes. Still, his voice stayed steady. She asked him why he kept coming. He answered that it was normal to check on someone who had been hurt. She told him it was not normal for her people. Injured warriors were ignored, so they would grow strong or die. Jae-suk frowned slightly. He said humans once believed similar things. He said it had cost them much. Those words stayed with her. As days passed, Kira was allowed to walk through certain parts of the station. A human guard escorted her, but she noticed the guard spoke to her more like a guide than a jailer. She saw humans sharing meals, even during hard work. She saw them argue, then apologize. She saw engineers stop to help strangers lift heavy loads. Strength was everywhere, but it was quiet. Kira began to speak more. She told Jae-suk about her training, about the first time she was forced to fight another child, about how praise only came when pain was ignored. Jae-suk listened. He did not interrupt. When she finished, he said nothing for a long moment. Then he said he was sorry. That word struck her harder than any blow. Sorry was not an apology for failure. It was grief for pain. Later, Commander Hwan requested her presence. The meeting room was smaller this time. No cameras. No crowds. Hwan spoke clearly. He said the alien coalition was unhappy. They believed humans were influencing Kira. They demanded her return once she healed. Kira felt anger rise. Not at the humans, but at her own leaders. She asked if she had broken any rule. Hwan answered that she had only acted to save lives. He said humans would not force her to stay or leave. The choice was hers. That choice weighed heavily on her. When Jae-suk heard of the demand, he looked troubled. He told Kira he would respect whatever decision she made. He did not ask her to stay. That hurt more than if he had. The next cycle, Kira helped in small ways. She lifted damaged panels. She cleared debris under supervision. Humans thanked her openly. Some smiled. No one demanded her loyalty. One night, alarms sounded again, but this time it was only a drill. Humans moved fast, calm, and organized. Kira joined them without being asked. After the drill, a young human thanked her for helping. He said he felt safer with her. Kira realized something then. For the first time, her presence brought comfort, not fear. That realization shook her deeply. In a quiet observation hall, she stood beside Jae-suk and watched stars drift past. She told him she did not know who she was without war. He told her humans had asked that question many times. He said answers came slowly, through choice. The coalition message arrived soon after. It was harsh. It warned of consequences if Kira did not return. Kira read it in silence. Her hands clenched. She remembered the gentle hands cleaning her wound. The voices that asked, not ordered. The strength that protected instead of crushed. For the first time, she felt fear of going back. Jae-suk stood nearby, waiting. He did not speak. Kira looked at him and realized something, clear and frightening. The humans had changed her. Not with force. But with care. The message from the coalition did not fade with time. It hung over the station like a shadow. Patrols increased. Weapon systems stayed warm. Everyone felt the tension, even those who did not understand the words. Kira stood in the training bay, testing her strength. Her wound had healed enough for movement, but not full combat. She moved slowly, carefully. Humans watched from a distance, ready to help if needed. She hated that feeling. On her world, help meant weakness. Here, help meant trust. Jae-suk entered the bay quietly. He carried a small tablet with updated schedules and security notes. He stopped when he saw Kira pause, breathing hard. He asked if she should rest. She shook her head and continued moving. Her strikes were precise but controlled. She was not releasing anger. She was thinking. Later that cycle, Commander Hwan called for an emergency meeting. Representatives from human forces gathered in a sealed chamber. Kira was invited, not ordered. Hwan spoke without raising his voice. Coalition ships had moved closer. They claimed they were only watching, but their weapons were active. Some human officers argued for stronger defenses. Others warned against escalation. Voices rose and settled. Kira listened. When Juan asked for her view, the room grew quiet. She was the enemy's warrior. Her words mattered. She said the coalition respected only strength. But she also said they did not understand human strength. They believed kindness was control. They believed restraint was fear. She said they were wrong. She explained that humans fought hardest when protecting others. That humans endured pain without showing it. That humans chose mercy, not because they were weak, but because they were strong enough to carry it. Silence followed. Juan nodded. He thanked her. The coalition transmission arrived soon after. This time it was direct. A high commander demanded Kira's immediate return. He accused humans of stealing a weapon. Kira stepped forward before Juan could respond. She asked to speak. The commander laughed at first. He called her broken. He said she had forgotten her purpose. Kira did not raise her voice. She said her purpose had never been to obey blindly. It had been to protect her people. She said she had learned another way to do that. The commander threatened force. Juan ended the transmission. The station shifted into full alert. Humans moved with calm speed. Defensive lines formed. Evacuation plans activated. Jae-suk helped guide civilians to secure areas. His hands shook, but his steps did not slow. Kira found him near a corridor junction. She told him the coalition would attack. She said she might have to fight her own kind. Jae-suk looked at her with worry. He asked if she was ready. She realized then that no one had ever asked her that before. She answered honestly. She said she was afraid. He nodded. He said courage did not mean lack of fear. It meant choosing action anyway. The first shots came without warning. Energy blasts struck the outer hull. Shields flared. The station trembled. Boarding alarms sounded. Kira moved to the defense line. Humans accepted her presence without question. A human soldier handed her a weapon, adjusted for her grip. She took it and felt something tighten in her chest. When enemy troops broke through, Kira stood at the front. She fought with skill and control. She blocked attacks aimed at humans. She pushed enemies back without rage. She saw fear in human eyes and stepped between them and danger. This was different. Jae-suk watched from a command alcove, coordinating movement and supplies. He saw Kira take a hit meant for a wounded human. He felt his breath stop. She rose again. The battle was fierce but short. Human defenses adapted fast. Enemy troops fell back under focused resistance. When the last alarm faded, the station was damaged, but standing. Kira stood among humans, breathing hard. No one cheered. No one bowed. They simply nodded to each other. Later, Juan approached her. He said the coalition ships were retreating. Not destroyed. Retreating. They had seen enough. Kira looked through a viewport at the distant stars. She knew there would be consequences. She also knew there was no return to who she had been. Jae-suk joined her. He did not speak. She said she had chosen. He answered that he knew. For the first time in her life, Kira felt something stronger than duty. She felt belonging. The days after the battle were quiet, but not peaceful. Repairs continued across the station. Burn marks stayed on some walls as reminders. Humans worked without complaint. Losses were honored in silence. Then work resumed. Kira walked the corridors freely now. No guards followed her. No doors closed when she approached. Some humans nodded. Some smiled. A few still looked unsure, but none showed fear. She felt the weight of choice pressing on her every moment. The coalition had retreated, but they had not forgiven. Messages arrived often. Warnings, promises of punishment. Kira did not answer them. Instead, she helped where she could. She lifted heavy loads during repairs. She stood watch during long nights. Humans treated her as one of their own, but never claimed ownership. That mattered. Jae-suk returned to his routine. Reports, schedules, supply routes. Life moved forward, as it always did. Yet something had changed between them. Their conversations grew longer. Their silence felt easier. One cycle, Kira joined him in the observation hall again. Stars moved slowly outside the glass. She said she could not return to her people. Not as she was now. Jae-suk listened. He asked what she wanted. The question stopped her. Wanting had never been allowed. She said she wanted to stay. Not as a weapon. Not as a symbol. But as herself. Jae-suk said humans did not decide that alone. He said Earth would need to agree. Councils would argue. Fear would speak loudly. She nodded. She understood politics. She had seen them destroy worlds. He added that he would speak for her. That surprised her. A human council meeting was held days later. Kira stood before screens filled with faces from Earth. Leaders, advisors, military officials. They asked hard questions. About loyalty. About risk. About trust. Kira answered honestly. She spoke of her past. Of what she had done. Of what she regretted. She did not ask for forgiveness. She asked for a chance. Silence followed. Then a human elder spoke. She said humanity had survived because it learned from pain. She said fear was natural, but growth came from choice. The decision was not quick, but it was clear. Kira was offered asylum. Not as a soldier, not as a person. The coalition responded with anger. Threats followed. Trade stopped. Borders tightened. Humans prepared. Not with rage, with patience. Months passed. The station became a shared outpost. More aliens arrived. Some hostile. Some curious. Kira trained human defense teams, teaching control instead of cruelty. Humans taught her restraint beyond battle. She learned how to sit in silence without planning war. Jae-suk watched her change slowly, truly. He never pushed. He never pulled. One day, during a quiet shift, Kira asked him why he had treated her gently from the start. He thought for a long time. He said he had seen too many tired eyes in his life. He said no one deserved to be treated like a tool. That answer stayed with her. A final coalition message arrived a year later. It was brief. It acknowledged failure. It warned that Kira was now considered lost. She read it alone, and she deleted it. Standing at the viewport, she watched Earth grow large and blue ahead. The station had moved closer for joint operations. She felt fear again, but it was not the old fear. It was the fear of becoming something new. Jae-suk stood beside her, as he often did. He said Earth was not perfect. He said humans still fought each other, still failed. She said she knew. That was why she trusted them. As the station entered orbit, Kira placed her hand against the glass. For the first time, she did not feel like a warrior waiting for orders. She felt like someone who had chosen her own path. Far below, a world waited. Not with chains. But with open hands.